Hi, guys. Welcome back to Transits and Tactics. We were having a great laugh now with Anita because this is one of those weeks or days where it's just everything is so unclear. And it's sort of we know what to say, but we don't know what to say. And I was saying I'm struggling to put this energy into words. And it doesn't matter how many interpretations I have read in preparation to this, how much, I've taken so many notes, and yet it's like still the head is really weird. Anita, what did you say? There is a specific thing with Mars that affecting us.
Exactly. Well, there's a grand square at the moment with four different energies influencing us, but Mars is in Cancer. So it's like trying to speak through water, where you're trying to get the words out. It's like we're clearing actually a ton of emotional energy that's generational. And so, but it still feels like you're talking to someone through water. So it comes out almost gobbledygook.
Well,
So
hopefully it will
yeah.
be better than that today.
Exactly. So when you can't put the thoughts to words, the best thing to do is put this energy into movement. Because,
Yes.
move instead and just go out and maybe bring a recorder and record as you can. Because with Mars, it's very motivational energy. You might find it hard to be motivated with Mars in Cancer. He's not comfortable there at all.
Mm.
So, it's if you don't feel motivated, as you said yourself earlier, just refocus on something else. That's fine. Let it go.
Yeah, that's true. And with that introduction, guys, then you will be kinder to us and we will be kinder to you, right? We are going to share what comes out today about this transit. And we have this transit in gate 50. It's a splenic gate and it is a gate of values. Um, and it's so interesting. It's also called the cauldron. It's like something where values are cooking. Really interesting concept. And this is why I found it difficult to express because something that's going on, for example, in my life, the themes that this transit is stirring is definitely around the values, and it's definitely around the question of whether something is doing something against the values of our community, of our society. We're having problems with our neighbors, and there's constant discussions about how they don't respect the fact that we're living in the apartment block and that we can hear them just walking and how loud they are. And this conversation became really almost like a fixation on this. So I had to say to my husband, I don't think it's healthy for us to spend so much time. But I think that this is what this transit is kind of trying to bring out of us. We're questioning, and then we have to question whether, something new is afoot, something new is about to happen to us, or do we need to take kind of action? Because this transit, it brings the theme of sudden change. We have the sun in gate 50, the gate of values, but the earth is in gate 3, the gate of ordering. And the theme with the gate 3 is this difficulty in the beginning. It's this sudden things and changes and the newness, and especially not just we have the gate 3 activated, we actually have within this transit the whole channel 360. What is this channel called?
Not sure what it's called. Difficulty in beginning.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh my God, guys, what is going on? Why did we not have the channel name? Okay, 360. We will find out. But the idea about the 360, it's about accepting that you will never know when this breakthrough, when this new thing will happen. And actually, both of my chirons in my chart are in gate 3. So I know this energy of in the beginning, you're always struggle because it's very unclear and it's always, you never know when things will, it's like you're drifting between chaos and order all the time. And the only way to deal with this energy, and Chiron represents your kind of, in a way, karmic lesson in life. And I'm now entering the time when the Chiron return will happen. So I am here thinking, I'm sharing this literally, like this is my karmic lesson in life. You have to give it time and trust, right? You have to accept that you will never know when that thing that is now chaotic will become orderly, or when is this order that you're enjoying so much will suddenly like turn around and become chaotic. And
That's
every
it.
time when this happens, you emerge a fresh new person. And this is so kind of awesome. So how can we look at this and distill what can happen during this specific week or this specific few days? You know, there is a lot of themes if you think about it. So there is this sudden change. There is definitely an element of sudden change. There might be something that can happen that you've been waiting for a long time or not. You know, and you could feel either excited or melancholic about it. And what Anita just mentioned, if you are feeling, you know, low, if you're feeling unclear, move. So the Mars is saying to us, move, but just this transit as well, because there's a lot of its energy, and the energy is very of initializing. You know, and it's not like we can't initialize anything, no matter what our human design is. But sometimes, you know, it needs to be according to our strategy and, you know, to be correct for us. But the mind is very busy. It wants to initialize. It wants to see what's unnecessary, what can be abandoned, what is necessary for our safety. The theme of the gate of the values, this is the defense tribal circuitry. So it is about, you know, our community, our support, our family. How can we do things maybe in a better way for our family, you know, or what's serving, what's not serving? Are we enough? And this is where the fear of gate 50, you know, it's a splenic gate. So there, we're dealing with fears. And the fear here is about responsibility. So you might be asking yourself, am I enough? Am I doing enough? You know, when it comes to business and marketing, and this is the question that every business owner asks themselves a lot. And so you might have a peak of this, you know, is this enough? Is this enough? Does it have to be there? You know, questioning this. I'm writing my book, and this is, I know this is the theme behind. It's not even that if I am enough, but it's taking responsibility for everything that comes out into the book. And then, you know, this few days, what I'm feeling is extra heightened sort of, ooh, I think it's too much. I think this is not enough, but this is too much. And where to find that? Where is your personal value? Where's your personal truth in what to be responsible for and where you're afraid to be responsible for something? And here's the thing, the fear is a fear. Sometimes it's scary to do the right thing. Sometimes it's scary to be a stirrer, to stir the status quo. And right now, with this values theme, it's not only about guarding the values, but it's also about sometimes a change, right? So all of these topics, all of these things are kind of flying through our head, and it's, I don't know if it's challenging or not. So I would love, this is the transit video. I think that we would love to hear from you guys. How are you experiencing this? And maybe you will find better ways to communicate it, or maybe you can give us your examples. Have there been any conversations about the enoughness? Have there been any kind of evaluations of values in life, what you're prepared to tolerate? What do you want to keep? So Anita, what's going on with you this
Yeah,
transit?
this is great. I want to give you some context because the grand square is literally, it's a cross or a grand cross on the chart. It's all the initiating energies, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries. So it is very initiative energy. But right now you might feel very stuck because
Mm,
you know that 360 is an individual circuit gate. That means that often, and this is what we've been reiterating for months now, you need to be grounded and centered and follow your hunches, because often with this individual energy, you don't understand or get why you need to take that action until you look back
yes.
2020 hindsight, right? So the funny thing with this as well is that we're not reinventing the wheel. We're building on what has worked before with this gate. It's like this is the the seedling breaking through the seed pot. This is the butterfly from the chrysalis kind of energy, this 63. And with 50, the gate that's activated by the sun this week, it's very much like, how have society values and rules left you feeling excluded as an individual?
Mm,
And so, where are you still feeling sad about that, the Cancer energy? And where do you need to just release where you've been playing a victim to that energy potentially for years? Because I just pulled a card there, we are breaking free. We're breaking free. So So use these energies which are tense, which are almost super weighty, the responsibility that we have taken to comply with the rules and the values is has been way over the top, way over the top. So what I find with my clients when you have this energy, what you might find in work is this is what kind of propels you to overcare, to guilt yourself into doing things for others that and leave yourself out. So we're playing the being left out theme everywhere. And this is the first, this gate is super duper because it's the one where you take your own oxygen first, simply. Take your own oxygen first, then help others. Otherwise, you're going to burn out from overcaring and burn out from not looking after yourself. So what happens here is everybody's first, and this is where toxic empathy comes in. You put everybody first, and then you're wondering why you feel so empty, so left out. And it's really bring your caring through a full cup. So energetically, what can happen here, you mightn't be mentally intentional of taking on others people's energy, but this is where you do, you collapse your energy and you let people in a way that is unhealthy for you. So big thing is, we're breaking through society values. How many relationships are working on what I should do in society? They have a whole list of do's and don'ts with respect to relationship, as opposed to with our design, honoring our actual needs and showing up to the relationship in a way that we're dealing with each other front and center instead of having a list of things that are unattainable for maybe that particular match. So it's a great energy. It's like the Godfather, the Chicago Godfather, the mafia. Well, this is the Godmother energy where it's my responsibility to, a big thing here is give people the gift of sorting out their own crap.
Mm.
Don't do
It's
it.
actually a really good way to put it, especially if you have the 27th gate in
Yeah,
your design, because that's going to activate the channel of preservation 2750. And that is all about caring and nurturing and mothering.
yeah.
And if you are overdoing it and you are entering this incorrectly without following your inner guidance, without following your strategy, you can be taken for granted and you can feel really bad about it. And yet it all comes down to, with gene keys, the gate 50, the shadow of this gate is corruption. And it's corruption within yourself. And really, if you boil it down, it is about not putting yourself first. It's so interesting, actually. I have an anecdote, from my life. For a long time, if somebody else needs me, I will drop everything and I will go and do this, even though I don't have the 2750 naturally, but I'll do things for other people rather than I do them for myself. And the cross that I carry, in my life is bad couches. In where I live, bad couches and resisting to change the couch. And it's been like this when I lived in Ireland, and it literally been like this for 4 years that I live here in Estonia. And this week, and this is how this transit sort of initiating, this week was the week where we started putting ourselves first here, and we started talking about the fact how many hours we spend on that couch a day is so important. And then we're resisting to change the couch. And yet, if there was an online course or some sort of program, I'd go and I'd pay that for that in a heartbeat. And that would be more expensive than going in and buying a new couch. What?
Mm, mm.
What are we doing? Or what are we not doing? So we
Yeah,
ordered a new couch and we
yeah.
were able to shift the old one as well. So it's like in one day, it's going to be all changed. And I think this is the kind of representation. Sometimes, you have to put yourself first and say, what do you value? Do you value your well-being? Do you value, the quality of life? Do you value as well how things are working for you, that you can get the rest that you need, that you can get the comfort that you need?
Mm,
So that's the kind of thing that just came into my mind. And then suddenly, completely suddenly, a new thing comes in, So this is an interesting thing. There's 3 days into this transit now that we're recording this, and another
mm,
3 to go, which will
mm.
be very, very fascinating to watch.
Exactly. And, we're breaking through society values that were formed through fear,
Oh, yes.
through that mistaken loyalty or mistaken interpretation of society rules onto our own life. This is kind
Mm.
of like the keeping up with the Joneses. If I don't do it, I'm afraid not to do it as much as I'm afraid to do it. If
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do it when it's to do something individual, I'm afraid not to do it if it's relation to the tribe. So we have this juxtaposition where we need to find that balance. And all the energies are supporting this at the moment. How can you include yourself in the equation in a way that you're creating a win-win? Where are you overdoing things? Where are you overburdening yourself with other people's issues? Where do you need to sit down? And this is perfect in business, because in business, we're inclined to do it overdo things anyway.
Yeah.
We love what we do and we love helping people. So, like, we're all in, and you need to be. But there's a place where we need to ask ourselves, what is actually in my control here and what
Mm.
isn't? So that's the best list that I would suggest to people when you're trying to figure out responsibilities. Because, of course, for the person who's overly responsible, there's the person who refuses to be accountable. The relationship in hell. So you could, as a coach, you might have that client who's refusing to step up to the plate, and that's exhausting you. Because when you take on that burden, it's very heavy. It's exhausting for us to
Mm.
do that. So, but the best thing I can say for a tip this week is do your list. What's in my control? What's not in my control? And in the in control list, if there's anybody else's name in it, remove it. Put it over to the other side. Put it over to the
Yes.
other side, because you'll be surprised how much, as society, especially as women, we are overburdened with other people's emotional, mental, spiritual energies. And it's not that we can't do it, it's just that it doesn't necessarily support us to do that. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. And yeah, I even drifted away thinking about the specific thing what I was mentioning when I was talking about the couch. It's all about if it was for someone else, the moment my husband suffers with the back, I'll pay the money, I will go and get it on that day. But for me, and sometimes, why don't we have our own name on that list of
Mm.
what's for us, of what needs to be addressed, of where we need to have this responsibility?
Exactly. I call it, there's a word someone gave me, a phrase, it's called enlightened selfishness. It's where I am realizing that putting myself first is better for everybody, as well as for me, all the time, 100%. Even when I started with the angels, the first thing they told me, because I had come from a hospital environment where it's all about the patient and, getting the result out, and it's all about the patient. Um, and the guidance was consistently take your own oxygen first, take your own, because if you're not breathing, people are tripping over you. You are the liability, you
That
know?
is so true. And you know what? I'm laughing at myself because, here's me talking about how I, put myself at the back burner. And yet in business and marketing, I'm the first one to say selfish marketing. Make your business around what suits you, what's convenient to you. I'm writing this whole book about it right now. This is
Yeah.
really my message. And yet, this is, and it's okay. I think it just shows the duality of the, real life is we know what to do. We preach this, we know it.
Mm.
But sometimes we ourselves need to take the leaf out of our own books and
And
do it
exactly. And
properly.
it's to make sure that you don't underestimate the fear that has held people in community for so long. And, you've really described it. It doesn't feel like fear. It feels like I'm putting others first. It feels like I'm doing the right thing, inverted commas. So we have kind of almost rationalized it and excused it by, doing the activities, but not registering that it's fear driving it. So with this gate, it's fear of survival. How will I survive without the tribe? Can I? Can I do my own thing and be in the tribe? And we're literally with the transits, with the energies, the way they're going, we're being trained at the moment by universal energy to step into that space where Pluto is moving into Aquarius in a few weeks time, which is, listen, you can be yourself. With respect to the community, you don't have to fight to be yourself anymore. But you do need to take responsibility for you and take responsibility for those fears that are driving you to conform when it's killing you to conform at the same time. I mean,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Oh, yes, it's a great transit. Guys, as I said, share your own experiences with this. It's sometimes nice to just start talking about it. Because, before we started recording this, we were saying it's so weird, we can't communicate it. And yet, we did well, I think, and things just came up as we spoke about it. And don't forget, I think the main thing here, if you feel stuck, if you feel like, things are not moving and you start feeling heavy and you start feeling melancholic, go move. Go
Yeah.
move. This is the great period for you to just like move your energy. Go for a long walk. You will see a big difference that it will do. Guys, we will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. Until then.